morning. Welcome once again to our midweek service. My name is Susan Kibe from ACK St. Christopher Mathare North Parish. I have been given this opportunity by Reverend Kibe to give a presentation once again, a follow-up of last week. Last week we looked at stress and how the COVID-19 is impacting on our stress levels. Today we want to look at how our personality is impacting how we are reacting towards the COVID-19. And again, this has been occasioned by what we have been observing from around. Different people are reacting differently towards the COVID-19, and even considering that the numbers of the infected people keeps rising. And even as the numbers are rising, yesterday I had the CS for health even quoting the Bible that people who are ignoring what we are being told are putting themselves at very great risk. So the question that has been going on in my mind, what makes people react differently to what is happening in this COVID-19 era? And I looked at personality being one of them, and I want us to just share one or two things about personality. Maybe the first question to ask ourselves is, what is personality? And I picked there are many definitions, but I picked one from the association, American Psychologist Association, because remember, this information is from the counseling desk. So I'm going very heavily on the psychological counseling aspect. And the APA defines personality as individual differences in characteristic patterns of thinking, feeling, and behaving. And of course, every person thinks differently, every person behaves differently, and so all those characteristic patterns and differences are what we call personality. In fact, one of the psychologists says that if a certain behavior or thought pattern can be observed in a person for a long period of time, maybe 2 years, then we can comfortably say that that is that person's personality. So, having said that, maybe it is good for us to ask ourselves, how do we develop personality? How did you come to have the characteristic ways of thinking or behaving that you have? And I want to suggest to us just some of the major determinants of personality. I'm not going to talk about all of them because I want to concentrate on what is relevant to us. And the first major determinant, of course, is heredity. When we talk of heredity, we are talking about genetic transmission. I don't know if you have ever thought about it, that the way you think, you could have gotten it from your parents, the genes that they passed on to you. And that one sounds like our personality is permanent. Well, we shall see as we go along whether our personality is permanent. The other second major determinant of personality are the cultural factors. We are talking about the culture in which you are raised, the people around you, and the things the society around you considers to be normal. We also have our childhood experiences, whereby we are asking ourselves, as you grew, what are the things that you came into contact with? Some of them you were punished for them, some of them you are celebrated for them. You are actually given a present because of behaving in a certain way, and therefore you found yourself being conditioned in one way or another, conditioned on how to think. Have you ever thought that even the way you thought, maybe you were celebrated sometimes, and sometimes you are punished for thinking in a certain way or for behaving in a certain way, so you became conditioned in those various aspects. Then we also have the norms that our family has put in place. Every family has what it considers to be normal, to be followed by its members. When we talk of the family, there are other family factors that that affect our personalities, and some of them we talk about a functional family. You know, a family where the members are allowed to be individual, to be unique, and their needs are met. We call that a functional family. We also have other families that are not functional, whereby its members are not allowed to have independence of thought, to have independence of behavior, and you find this kind of people being very constrained in the way they do things, and therefore their personality being affected. What about the social and emotional tendencies in a family? If a family has a lot of warmth in the way they exhibit their emotions, then their members will also be very warm towards others, and this has a way that it will impact on their personality. Of course, when you compare this with the other extreme, where some families are very cold, they don't appreciate people from outside very easily. In fact, they're even cold socially. They don't invite even information from the outside very quickly. This eventually passes on to their members, and eventually the personality is formed in that way. We also have other situational factors. Here we are talking about the environment, the situation that you find yourself in. And you have to respond to the particular situation. You have to respond to the particular environment. There is a way the environment can require of you to be more outgoing, or to be more reserved. And all these have a way that they affect our personality. I have picked on those four. The fifth one is the socialization process. Socialization simply means the way you are made to fit or to behave in a way that you fit in society. And again, the primary factors who are around you are the ones who socialize you into behaving in a certain way. They show you that, for example, if you want to eat, this is an acceptable way of eating. This is acceptable, and so on and so forth. So having looked at those 5 major determinants of personality, I hope you are already beginning to see that it is not just how someone wants to behave or how someone wants to think, but that there are factors that come into place in determining how the particular personality of a person will be like. And this will become very crucial as we continue with this discussion, because sometimes we want to force people to be the way we are, and yet they are the way they are because of all those factors that I have talked about, and some of the factors are beyond the control of somebody. So it is good that we keep that in mind. Maybe it is good to ask ourselves, before we now come to how our personality is impacting on the COVID-19 situation, to ask ourselves what personality types exist. And here I want to ask you to work with me, so that as I discuss a certain personality, maybe you ask yourself, is that the type that I fall into? Because as we are going to be saying later on, it is important for you to know your personality. So there are very many psychologists who have come up with ways of determining personality types, but I want to rely very heavily on the work of Myers-Briggs. They have an approach that they have used to come up with personality types. And in Myers and Briggs, they have looked at some 5 factors that come into play in determining how someone responds to their environment. So I want to very quickly look at those 4 aspects, those 4 factors that come into play when we talk about personality. And the first one is the aspect of focus. Where do you focus? Do you focus inwardly or do you focus outwardly? And when we talk about focusing outwardly, we are talking about being more comfortable when you are relating outwardly. You are relating with others. So you find that people who relate outwardly, whom we shall then call the extrovert. For the extrovert, they are more talkative, they are more outgoing, they are more social. They tend to work with outside ideas, and so they will be more comfortable when they are in the company of others. Okay, we actually call this group the extroverts. Extroverts will even renew their energies when they are in the company of other people. Like when they are tired and they want to rejuvenate, they will rejuvenate better when they are in the company of others. On the other extreme of focus aspect is the people who focus inwardly. And these are the people we shall call the introverts. And the introverts, you will find that with the introvert, they will be more reserved. They will be more private. They relate better with themselves and their thought patterns. So they tend to love their space, and they tend to renew their energies when they are thinking, when they are retrospecting, when they are reflecting. In fact, introverts are more reflective. So you will find introverts will renew their energies when they are alone somewhere, and when they are just reflecting, how did the day go, who said what, why did they say that, what did I do, and that is how they renew their energies. So that is the first aspect of the focus. The second factor that Myers and Briggs look into is the whole aspect of how do we take in information. How does a person prefer to take in information? And in this category, they look at either the sensing type or it is either the sensing type or the intuition type. With the sensing type, there are people who rely on their senses to take in information. What do I mean by that? I'm sure you all know the 5 common senses that we were taught when we were growing up. Never mind that they could be more than 5, but we were told about the 5. The visual, seeing. And for the sensing type, they rely on their senses. If I cannot see it, I cannot confirm it. If I haven't had it, I cannot confirm it. If I can't touch it, then I cannot confirm it. I cannot confirm an information which my senses is not coming into contact with. Those are the sensing type. Then we have the intuitive type. And with the intuitive, they rely more on imagination. The intuitive type does not need to touch something for them to confirm that information. All they need is to imagine. In fact, if an accident happened outside here and you hear a big bang, and the intuitive type will tell you, oh my God, that is an accident. And those are 2 cars head on, and people have died, and they do not even need to have seen. But with the sensing type, they will ask, who told you it's an accident? Did you see? You are saying people have died. Have you seen them? Who has told you? Because they rely more on their senses when they are taking in information. The third focus that Myers and Briggs talks about is, how do you prefer to make decisions? How do you prefer to make decisions? In this category, we have the thinking type and we have the feeling type. With the thinking type, they make decisions based on logical reasoning. In fact, the thinkers are very impersonal. Yeah, they are very impersonal. They rely on logic, facts. If I know that going this direction is wrong, it is wrong, and it does not matter whether you are happy or not happy about it. They actually do not depend on the feelings of others. So they will make decisions based on fairness, based on justice, based on finishing the work. Yeah, if we do this, will it finish the work? Then let's do it. And they don't care whether you are happy or not happy. In fact, sometimes they can be described as level-headed. It's more in the mind. With the feeling type, they base their decisions on personal values. Okay, the decision that I make, how will it affect others who are around me? How will it affect the feelings of those who are around me? Those are the feeling type. Okay, and then with the feeling type, they are more empathic, they are more warm, they reach out to people, they want to make people happy, even with the decisions that they make. Then the last category, or the last area of focus that Myers and Briggs look into, is how do you prefer to live your outer life? Outer life simply means how do you orient yourself, yeah, with your environment. Okay, and here we have two types. We have the judging type and the perceiving type. Okay, and with the judging type are those people who want things to work. They want to do something and see the conclusion. Okay, so for them it's more the conclusion that is important. Okay, and they want matters to be settled. They are very good with deadlines. When you are discussing something and you come up with a decision, they want to ask, by when should this be done? That is the judging type. Unfortunately, the judging type, well, let me not say unfortunately, but the judging type will also be very detailed. They follow instructions, and they also are very critical at others who do not follow instructions. Okay, they are quite critical. They want to know, where are we going, by when should we have reached there, and such like things. Then we have the perceiving type. The perceiving type are simply they simply want to enjoy the moment. They want to perceive every moment. Okay, and therefore they are not concerned at having options with deadlines. In fact, they find deadlines very restrictive. They want to remain open. It is like, if we are going to Nairobi, I'm not so concerned about reaching there. I'm concerned about even the journey. How will it be? Am I enjoying myself along the way? Am I enjoying the scenery? If there is somewhere with a hotel, can we come out and take tea and enjoy the tea that is being sold there? So you can already see it can be it can be a source of conflict. Yeah, people who are one extreme and people who are the other extreme. Having said that, now Myers and Briggs encourage us to go seeing in those 4 areas which is the area that best describes you, and they tell you to pick that letter of every area of focus. Pick the letter that best describes you, so that finally you end up with 4 letters that now constitute your personality. We are not going that direction today, so I will not dwell on it very much, but I hope you have been able to tell. You can be able to tell now whether you are an introvert or extrovert, whether you are a feeler or a thinker. And we have said feelers are those who take into account the feelings of others even as they make decisions. Or whether you are a perceiver or a judger, yeah, or whether you are a sensor or an intuiter. I hope by now you can be able to just be able to pick very vaguely where you fall into. So I wanted us to ask ourselves, what is the impact of personality on in this COVID-19 season or situation? How is our personality impacting on the way we are handling the COVID-19? And I hope by now you can be able to see. For the extrovert, imagine now the extrovert, actually call them the people. Yeah, they want to engage in meeting with others, in having contact with other people, talking, sharing, laughing. I hope you are able to see all that. Now you can imagine what COVID is doing. Lockdown, which means, stay at home more. Stay in your constituency more. Okay. What about the curfew? What is the curfew doing to the extrovert? It's like we are saying, be in the house by 7. In fact, I heard the other day some extrovert saying, ni kama tunaambiwa tuingie nyumbani na kuku. And for them, they feel constrained. Yeah, they feel constrained. They feel they are not using their energies in the way that they enjoy. They are also feeling that they are not being able to renew their energies. Okay, and this may stress them. Remember, we were talking about stress the other day. This could be the source of stress, that they are feeling constrained. They are not able to meet their friends. They are not able to go for parties. They are not able to go for a drink, to go for coffee, after work, and so on and so forth. So the extroverts might feel constrained. They might feel more stressed. In fact, some of the extroverts who have found themselves in quarantine, they are actually talking about quarantine as a place that is like a prison, because you are not supposed to, you are supposed to keep social distance even when you are there. In fact, the extroverts are not liking the social distance aspect, because that is not what the extrovert enjoys doing. This is in contrast with the introvert. The introvert is happy. Yay! Finally, I can have my space. Finally, I don't have to interact with people very much. Finally, I can retreat in my own corner and just have my own time. Okay? So the introverts might be okay. They are happy. In fact, they would want the lockdown to be extended and extended and extended. Now, when these two people meet in the house, the extrovert wants to talk, wants to engage. The introvert, maybe it is the spouses, one of the spouses is introvert and the other one is extrovert. The extrovert wants to spend more time talking, spend more time discussing views, sharing, and so on. And the introvert is feeling their space is being invaded. Yeah, my space is being invaded. And sometimes they might want to go into the room, they might want to lock the room. And could be this is one of the areas where the conflict at home is coming from. Even in the entire relationships, yeah, they are being affected by this COVID. Yeah, the introvert will rarely take their phone to call other people because they are happy with being with their own company. And so relationships, there are some friends who are feeling, why is it so and so calling me? Am I not their friend? Don't they regard me as an important person in their world? Whereas the extroverts are busy calling. They are calling others. They are calling their friends. And the introvert might not want to pick the phone, or might pick the phone and speak 2 words or 3 words. And the extroverts may be left wondering, am I not their friend? Why are they not giving me more and more time? And why are they not engaging in a full conversation? All this is because of the personality. The other way in which our personalities are affecting the way we handle the COVID-19. Remember, we talked about the sensing type and the intuitive type. If you remember, we said the sensing type taking information based on their senses. Hey, and now here we are, and the CS is every day here giving us updates. 9 more people, 5 from Kibe, sijui 2 from Mathare, and maybe the Mathare people are saying, hatujasikia yoyote, we haven't heard anybody. And remember, we said the sensing type believe information when they can see, like if they know a person and they can name the person's name who has contracted the COVID, then they will be able to believe COVID is there, and they will start taking the appropriate measures. But when if the sensor cannot put their finger on a specific information. We are being told 3 people from Mathare. Who are these people? Mi sijasikia yoyote. No wonder some people are not taking the protective measures seriously. They are not wearing their masks. Because I don't know anybody who has died, you know. Whereas with in Twitters, they imagine. In Twitters, imagine. In fact, in Twitters, only need to hear a little. Ati, but what wakipata COVID, majority are dying. Let me take care. And so they follow the instructions to the letter simply because they can imagine. They do not have to have seen. They do not have to have touched. They do not have to have even tested or even felt the particular information that we are being given. And so you will find the censors disbelieving many of these things we are being told. They feel there is no evidence. How are they getting the figures? I don't know whether you have had someone who is asking, how is the CS getting the figures? These figures are wrong. These people are too many, or these people are too few. It is your personality, my brother, my sister, that is influencing the way you are taking the information. But I would want to encourage you. If you are in the category of the censors, and because information has not been perceived by your senses, you are disbelieving, I would want to encourage you to think twice. But anyway, we shall come later to ask ourselves, what then do we do? So that our personalities does not put us in trouble. Okay? We talked about the judging type. Can you remember we talked about the judging type and the perceiving type? And we said the judging type rely a lot on facts, but then they also they love checking the importance of something, the importance of some information. And I told you the judging type can become very critical. Okay, and they can very easily in fact, the judging type are the ones who contribute a lot to somebody being a perfectionist. Okay, and perfectionists are very easily disregard information. They very easily disregard a certain situation, especially if the situation is not 100% perfect. Okay, and therefore the judging type could be they are the people we are seeing around, saying everything is wrong. In fact, the way this thing is being handled is wrong. They look for mistakes. The judging type will look for what is not working, and they dwell on it, and they blow it out of proportion. Okay, and sometimes without their knowledge, the judging type wanaweza kuwa vikwazo kwa wengine, wanaweza kuwa vikwazo kwa kitu fulani inafanywa, watu wakitaka kutenda kitu fulani. The judging type can become impediments because they never appreciate the little good that is happening. But they are the type that will be looking at what is not working, and they will be talking about it, and they will be discouraging others. I have had people, even as they go for the food that is being given, they say, sasa hii ni nini tumepewa? Hii ni chakula ya siku moja, you know, the judging type. And they disregard everything else. Some of the judging type are not even doing the little that one can be able to do. Remember, we were talking the other day about looking at the COVID situation as an opportunity to do something. And others are saying, me, I will not go to sell those barakoas. At the profit is only 1 shilling, and they want to disregard that 1 shilling. If it is in the home situation, the judging type will not see anything good being done by the others. If the children did not clean the house properly, sasa nyinyi kazi yenu ni nini? You are doing nothing in this house, you know, because they are the judging type. Okay, so the judging type can be very critical. They judge situations, they blame everybody, and they blame everything. Okay, what about the perceiving type? Because the opposite of judging is perceiving. Remember, we said that the judges will also like to put deadlines, In fact, they will want to, they are the ones who are very angry with, when the government is trying to put in the protective measures. Like they keep asking, when are school going to be opened? In fact, when now there was the extension, and the CS for education, in fact, said schools are not going to be opened. The judging type were the first ones to come and say, so what does that mean to our children? Does that mean the calendar, the school calendar will be disrupted? Yeah, because remember that the judging type work with deadlines. Yeah, they work with deadlines. For them, the school calendar must end by December. Is it December or even November? Because December now is holiday. And now they are saying, no, give us the dates. When is school going to be opened? Yeah, they work better when dates are put in place. So my brother, my sister, remember we are saying, we are asking ourselves, what is the impact of our personality on the way we are handling the COVID-19? Okay? So that is a judging type, critical. Critical about everything. And for the perceiving type, they might even be happy. Oh, this is time, more time to spend with my children, more time to not to wake up very early in the morning, because they want to perceive the moment. Yeah, more time to try out new recipes. I am hearing many people are trying new things, new skills in the house, and by the way, that is very positive. Yeah, and so then they will be happy because they can now, they have more time to try out new things in the house. Okay. What about the sensing type? Remember I told you about the sensing types. The sensing type will want facts, they will want specifics, okay? The sensing type do not like vagueness. They don't want things that are vague. When is this COVID going to end? Nobody knows. How can you not know? And you are the seers for what? For the medical aspect, Yeah, so they do not like vagueness. So they are disturbed when the government is not giving specific information. In fact, these are the people you will find even asking, how did that person die? How did you know it was COVID or it was not? They will ask all those things. So I hope so far you are beginning to see how your personality type will affect the way that you will respond to this COVID-19 season. Yeah, and in fact, because I am, by the way, I'm a marriage and family therapist, so I love going back to the family situation. And I hope you can already begin to see how the family situation is being affected by the different personalities that are in that particular home. And sometimes we even have people, spouses, probably one spouse expecting the other spouse to change and become like them, or they become critical about their personality. And if I were to put together what we have said so far, remember we said that there are specific determinants of personality, and I don't know if you were able to see that these determinants have been working for a long period of time to mold this particular personality that you are having, probably in the house or in the office or whichever other place. And therefore, what I want to say is that there is no good or bad personality. I think it's very important for me to say that. Like the extroverts cannot say we are better than the introverts. Neither can the censors say we are better than the intuitors. No. In fact, now that I am also in the church environment, in the Bible, there are Bible verses that clearly show that God appreciates all personalities. In fact, in one of the Bible verses, God says, God clearly says that, let me just find out, because I had quoted it, although I hadn't quoted the exact Bible verse, that we are all fearfully and wonderfully made. I think that is in Psalm 139, if I'm not very wrong. In fact, Psalm 139 is very good in terms of just appreciating personality. In fact, David is the one who wrote that psalm, and at some point he even tells God that before I was born, yeah, God, you already knew me. You knit me together in my mother's womb. Okay, so you already existed even before you were conceived, and you existed in the personality that God created you in. Yeah, and therefore there is no good or bad personality. So I want to ask ourselves, how can we manage the situation better based on our personalities? Yeah, how can we manage the situation better? Because I don't know if you have been able to see that your personality will make you handle a situation in a certain way. And the way you handle the situation could be in an effective manner or in a non-effective manner. And especially with this COVID-19. Remember, we are saying that all these protective measures that are being put aside, they are important to protect ourselves. Yeah? And therefore, if your personality leads you into disregarding, leads you into seeing that all those measures don't matter, and you end up living a carefree life, you are exposing yourself to becoming a candidate of COVID-19. So we want to ask ourselves, what can we do to manage the COVID-19 situation better based on our personalities? And I want to propose a few things, not many. Number one, I want to propose the importance of becoming aware of your personality. In fact, information is power. Once you know, this is my personality. An example, I know I'm a serious introvert. Believe it or not, I'm a serious introvert. I can lock myself in the house the whole day and just read, listen to music, listen to preaching, and I will be okay. But then I must ask myself, how will that impact the reality on the ground? Can I live alone in this world? I cannot. Okay? So the first thing, be aware of your personality. Are you the sensing type? Are you the one who must see to believe? Or you must taste to believe? And you need to be careful, because one day you will taste poison and then you will die even as you believe. So be able to be aware of your personality. Number two, and of course there are tests that can even be able to help you confirm your personality. Those of you who are good in going to internet, just go and download the Kibe temperament sorter. Okay, the Kibe, K-E-I-R-S-Y, the Kibe temperament sorter. There are some questions they ask you there, you fill them, and then they are able to give you the 4 letters that I talked about, so that you can be aware of your personality. Number two, after you become aware of your personality, accept your personality. Okay? You know, some people love comparing themselves with others. Like you might say, oh, like if it were me now, I begin to say, oh, now I'm an introvert. I'm not as good as Reverend Kibe, who is a serious extrovert. I'm not as good as so-and-so. I am a sensor. I'm not as good as so-and-so. No. We are not learning our personality in order to judge ourselves. We begin by accepting ourselves. Do like what David did in Psalm 139. Okay? Accept that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and that there are aspects about your personality that this world needs. It needs them so that it can be complemented. Yeah, and so on. And then number three, become aware of the impact of your personality to others and to situations. Okay? To others here, because we live with people. We live with people in the house. Yeah? Like if you are an extrovert, begin to ask yourself, how does my extraversion impact on others who are around me? Yeah? You know, extroverts sometimes can be very much wanting to interact with everybody, and they are talkative, and in being talkative, sometimes you can be insensitive. You end up saying things that hurt other people. Okay? If you are the feeling type, remember we said the feeling type are the ones who make decisions based on how the decisions are affecting other people. Okay, so you are so concerned. What will people say? What will they think? Did you know you can be so concerned with what others think until yeah, you may find yourself not engaging, yeah, not taking advantage of situations, of opportunities, not taking advantage of doors that open before you, simply because you are so concerned about what other people will think. Okay, so don't just be able to appreciate the impact of your personality on others and the impact of your personality on situations. Okay, remember we also talked about the judging type. If you are the judging type, how does that impact on others who are around you? At home, do you judge people? Do you judge your spouse? Do you judge your children so harshly until you harm them? Until they cannot think, they cannot initiate anything, because anything they initiate, you critique it, you judge it so harshly, okay, and so on. So what is the impact of your personality on others? Is there anything that is not pleasant in the way your personality impacts on other people? Okay, are you very slow in decision making simply because you want to please everybody? And in the home situation, for example, remember I told you I'm a marriage and family therapist. We have heard of situations where one spouse is frustrated because the other one takes too long to make a decision. So become aware of how your personality impacts on others and on situations. Like in this COVID-19, how is it affecting? How is your personality affecting the way you are responding to the situation? Are you responding to the situation in a manner that is realistic, in a manner that is beneficial to you and to others? Yeah, and all this will be able to be answered if you critically look at your personality and its impact. What are the strengths of your personality? Did you know that all these items that we looked at, they all have some strengths? Yeah. Talk of the sensing type, for example. The sensing type keep the intuitive type on check, because the intuitive type rely on imagination. Sometimes they can imagine even things that are not real. And the sensing type, with their strength, they keep them in check. They keep telling them, hey, well, that imagination is good, but again, did you know that I heard this person was from Zimmerman? You know? So they keep them in check so that they do not go outside of the reality. So what are the strengths related to your personality? So that these strengths, you can use them to your advantage and to the advantage of relationships and to the advantage of other situations. What are the weaknesses associated with your personality? What are the weaknesses? What are the blind spots associated with your personality? Because we all have blind spots, okay? And once we become aware, then we will be able to know that, hey, I need to take care of this one. I need to manage this one. I don't have a strength in this area, and therefore, I do not engage when there are others who are strong in that particular area. Okay? So just knowing your strengths, your weaknesses, your blind spots, becomes very critical in managing your personality in a better way. The other point, the second last one, is accept other people's personalities. Remember we said that there is no good or wrong personality. And we said that personalities, there is that which has made someone to have the particular personality that they have. So what am I saying? Accept other people's personalities. And when we say accepting other people's personalities, we are saying, number one, honor the differences. Yeah, I've just told you, Reverend Kibe is an extrovert, a serious one, and I'm an introvert, a serious one. Do you know, we honor each other's personality? Yeah, we honor. Like if I want to go somewhere where I need to talk a lot, I miss his company because, hey, come, you will fill in the gap that I have. And when he needs to go somewhere where, details need to be picked from a conversation, he carries me along and he tells me, you are able to pick things that I overlook, What am I saying there? We honor the differences, okay? Appreciate the strengths that are related to the other person's personality, yeah, and utilize those strengths, okay? And then we are saying respect the differences. Be patient with other people who are of different personalities than you, okay? Like, let's be patient with each other, yeah? Let's be patient with our children. Let's be patient with our spouses. Let's acknowledge their strengths, yeah? Let's acknowledge, like the introverts, by the way. Introverts are very good in, doing work that requires quietness. And they are very thorough. And they are very good in following instructions. So instead of overlooking or downlooking the introvert, why don't you utilize those strengths in areas where those strengths are required, okay? So even with our children, when you are allocating duties, try to allocate duties based on a child's personality, okay? So that they also have a chance to do something that they are enjoying, and then they gain more self-esteem, and then they become more confident of themselves, okay? That does not mean that you will not once in a while engage them in other areas that probably are not very consistent with their personality, because we also need to grow the person holistically. But once in a while, allocate them duties that are within their personality. Remember, we are saying that personality, all these areas that we talked about, it's the default setting. Like I told you, I'm a serious introvert. That doesn't mean I don't talk to people. I talk to people. I am also social. But my default setting would be to go at a corner, retreat, and do stuff alone, okay? But I need to grow my social skills. I need to grow the fact that I can work as a team with other people. So we engage, we use our personality to grow the areas that we do not have, but also to learn to accept and be comfortable with our default settings. So quit trying to make other people change. Quit trying. In fact, you will be frustrated. You will be frustrated. And I'm sure that couples can talk to me here. Couples who try to you want to make your spouse to become like you. Oh, you will be frustrated every day. You will be frustrated because they will do it 2-3 days, but default setting sets in and they go back to the personality that they truly are. So can we quit trying to make people change and begin to accept, begin to celebrate their personalities, begin to celebrate their strengths, and begin to help them work on their weaknesses, okay? So let's celebrate each other. Let's celebrate what God has created in us, yeah? And let us be responsible in our own personalities. Remember, I said that reflect. Look at how your personality, the areas of weakness are impacting on how you are relating with others and how you are relating with situations. And then finally, and this is a quality that we should all try to build in ourselves, trying to put yourself in other people's shoes. In the counseling language, we call it empathy. Yeah, try to be empathic. And this empathy is what is going to help you to appreciate other people's personalities. It will help you to appreciate what is being done, even by the government, even by the medics, even in quarantine. In as much as I'm saying situations are not 100%, but surely there is something good that is coming out of it. So we can only be able to do that if we grow that aspect of being empathic with others. So may God help us. May God help us as we are looking into our own personalities, appreciating ourselves, appreciating others, looking at how our personality is helping us to respond to this COVID-19 situation, so that we do what we need to do, change what needs to be changed, yeah, do things differently. Like when you see the way you are responding is not effective enough, just change, retreat, take a step back and say, my personality will put me in trouble here, so let me work on my weakness. Let me be realistic in the way that I respond to situations. And I know God will help us as we do that. So my brothers and my sisters, I hope I've been able to convince you that you need to know your personality. And I have given you a window to be able to see where you could be lying in the 4 areas that I talked about. Yeah. In fact, if I were to summarize the 4 areas, because it might be important, I said, do you focus inwardly or outwardly? There I'm asking you, are you an introvert or are you an extrovert? Number 2, how do you prefer to take in information? Are you the sensing type or are you the intuiting type? Sensing, we said they rely on their senses. Intuiting, we said they rely on imagination. How do you prefer to make decisions? Here we said the thinking type, who will use logic and their thought and disregard what people feel, or are you the feeling type, who prefer to do what will make others happy? Okay, and we said, remember we said, there's a strength, but there is a downside of that. Yeah, don't think about others too much until you don't move. Do you know everybody at any particular time has their view of what you are doing? There will be those who will be pleased with what you are doing. There will be those who will not be pleased. So long as you are convinced that what you are doing is good and is within your spiritual values, then go right ahead and do it. God has your back on that one. The other third aspect, the fourth aspect, how do you prefer to live your outer life? We said there is the judging type and there is the perceiving type. So I hope you have been able to see yourself somewhere, and that you will be able to see how your personality affects how you relate with others and how you relate with your situations, and that you will be able to do something about your personality so that you end up partaking what God promised you, the destiny that God created you for. You need to grab it, and your personality can either help you grab it or not grab it. And I'm sure God would want you to live within your destiny. So may God help us all. I'm also in that category. By the way, the aspect of becoming better is an everyday activity. I think we will only be perfected when we get to heaven. So long as we are living on this earth, there is always something new that we discover about ourselves. And therefore there is always some work to do. So I'm also working on myself to become better every day. And sometimes our situations also will make us keep changing. If a situation comes that needs me to grow my extroverted aspect, I grow it. If the situation prefers me to go quiet, I retreat to my introversion, and so on and so forth. So may God help us and give us the energy to do so. So I would wish that we take just a few 2 or 3 minutes and pray as we thank God about our personalities, and as we ask God to help us become better people, to help us work on our personalities so that we become better, both for ourselves, for our families, and for the society in general. So shall we pray. Almighty Father, we want to worship you and to honor you. You are great, Almighty Redeemer, because you are our creator. You are the one who created us. David is reminding us in Psalm 139 that you are the one who knit us neatly into our mother's wombs, that you are the one who put us together, Jehovah Father. And therefore, Lord, our lives, we owe them unto you, King of all glory. And our personalities, they were created by you, Almighty Redeemer. Even as you brought about our culture, you brought about our parents, you brought about our genes, Heavenly Father, that have contributed into who we are. Dear Lord, you created the personalities that we are in. And we want to ask you to help us to be to become aware of our personalities, to become aware of what you wanted us to accomplish with our personalities, and also to help us to appreciate who we are, so that we don't become so critical of ourselves, and we also do not become so critical of others, oh Lord. When we are able to accept ourselves, we are able to accept others better, oh Lord. And therefore help us, Lord. Give us the grace to appreciate ourselves and to appreciate others. Give us the grace to celebrate even others who are different than us, oh Lord. And help us to use those differences, Jehovah God, even to become more and more a teamwork that will eventually accomplish what you expected to be accomplished on this earth. And therefore we thank you, we glorify you, we thank you that even in this season of COVID, oh Lord, you are still protecting us, you are still taking care of us, and that you will help us, oh Lord, to work on our personality so that we respond in a more responsible manner. We respond in a more effective manner, oh Lord, so that, Heavenly Father, we do not find ourselves in situations that we put ourselves into, oh Lord, especially situations that will work against us, oh Lord. Even as we continue to implore you, oh Lord, to be able to bring an end to this pandemic, oh Lord, to be able to help our doctors and the researchers, oh God, to come up with interventions, oh Lord, that will be permanent and that will remove it, King of all glory. Thank you because you are making us better, oh Lord. And at the end of it, we shall become better people. Help us also, oh Lord, to be able to be in touch with our destiny, Heavenly Father, and to be able to use it and to maximize that particular destiny, Heavenly Father. We thank you for making each one of us fearfully and wonderfully, oh Lord. Help us to appreciate our spouses. Help us to appreciate our children. Help us to enjoy our opportunity and moments even when we are together, oh Lord. We thank you and we glorify you. In our homes, may your peace reign, Heavenly Father. May the joy of the Lord become our strength, so that, Lord, we will be happy even in the families that you have given us. For we pray all these things, trusting and believing in Jesus' name. Amen and amen. So thank you, and next week again, same day, same time, we will have our midweek service, and I hope that God will keep us until that time. So in the meantime, God bless you and God keep you. Amen.